Nadia, understanding that she was losing relatives by the gunshot, very few would survive. Nadia herself, just double check how many it was, she herself lost 6 of her brothers. And little did she know, at this time, after they were done with the men and they would start moving the women, and they would separate mother from daughter, they would separate sister from sister, depending on the ages, that it would be the last time she would see her mother also, father having died about 11 years prior to this incident. We're going to be coming back to that, ladies and gentlemen, with some themes I want to get into a little bit later on, especially with the recent events in the modern world. But the assassination of Charlie Kirk is going to be extremely important. From there, they were moved in buses, groups of an unknown number in total, being sexually harassed by the militants in a very forceful, demeaning, and painful way the whole way. Nadia herself, unable to take it during one of these transportations on the bus, screamed as loud as she could for it to stop. This resulted in her being scolded by another militant who came onto the bus to investigate what all the fuss was about. And later on, when they got to their destination in Mosul, this would mean that she was burned with cigarette butts and now tortured in a room of these militants, before being then led out onto the slave market to be sold as a commodity. Human life in these communities mattering absolutely none, ladies and gentlemen. For if you are an infidel in these communities, if you're seen as unfaithful, if you're a non-Muslim, you'll be seen as, in many ways, less than an animal, simply as something to be sold, used and abused to fill a certain purpose. You're a sabiyah. You take the orders, you don't give them, they were told. Sabiyah, meaning Islamic sex slave, essentially. She was initially going to be taken alongside a relative, Rojian, by a militant, Haji Salwan, who she described as having an odor of rotten eggs and cologne. However, in a moment of blind panic, she threw herself at the feet of another militant, whom she did not know whom it was, just in a moment of blind fear and trying to do the best she can to preserve her own safety, being a militant known as Haji Salman. So it resulted in her being separated from Rojian, Rojian being taken with the initial militant, and Nadia being taken by this new militant. She would be forced to convert to Islam to recite the Shahada, and she would be placed under the ownership of Haji Salman. She would be told by Haji Salman, despite the fact that Haji Salman's relatives, such as his mother and so on, would profess to Nadia in this extremely false way that what she'd done is a tremendous thing. It's not good to be an infidel in these communities, you know? And she would be constantly reminded that there would be a severe punishment if she ever tried to escape. All in all, she spent about 4 to 5 days with Haji Salman at this residence, with various things to do, which basically equated to cleaning the house, dressing up like a wife with dress, lipstick, makeup to serve the militants, tea when they came over to discuss militant business. This would occasionally present itself with opportunities to see other Sabiyah. She would be reunited with her family members, with these militants, when they would come over for these social gatherings on time, presenting fleeting moments where they could discuss, where they could talk, where they could assess the other's condition, where they could maybe share and have a brief moment of bonding over the horrific traumas that have been inflicted upon them. Nadia herself would be raped multiple times by Haji Salman. These would not just be any kind of rapes, ladies and gentlemen. These would be as wide apart, you can relate back to the rape gangs, if you will, of the ethno-religious supremacist nature and dominance, if you will.